Forward to the cloud. Hello, and welcome to our International Youth Parliament training. We are going to talk about something that's critically important today. And so welcome to those who are on live and welcome to those who are watching later. I invite you to come on live every time we have these. We just have them once a month, and also to take advantage of reading Robin's newsletter. She sends you her love and her support. She has another obligation. She's giving a training for another group today. And Jackie Zokali is with us. She's our precious, precious executive team member and working on so many things that she's offered to you. And if you're like, what is that she's offered to us? Then just email us and question and she'll let you know. But there are internship opportunities. She has trainings. There are things going on that you could be taking advantage of right now. So we really invite, suggest, encourage you to take advantage of everything that we're offering. Hello, I think that's Samson that's here. He just came on. Yes, I think that's Samson. All right, today we are talking about how important in your individual life, in your family, in your business, especially in your responsibilities as a leader in any capacity, how important it is, this concept. And it's about collaboration. It's about connecting heart to heart. And Jackie's an expert on it. She's created whole businesses on relationships, on connecting, on sharing, on communicating. And those who are not taking advantage, I need to say this lovingly, but those who are not taking advantage of the things that we're offering, I again implore you to do that and to come on the line and come live and listen and be growing, even during these tender, tumultuous times. Sometimes you have more time now than you had before to study, to read, to listen to trainings, to think about these things, to start your own businesses, to use the concepts that we are teaching you in your individual lives. So let's jump in. I have shared parts of this with you long, long ago. I think it was one of our very first presentations over a year ago. And I'm going to give you part of this, but I feel so strongly about collaboration. It's really how I've been able to do all that I have, given over 400 events, co-producing through collaboration, over 400 events in 152 countries. Those are global women's summits, those are peace summits, and those are, parts of other organizations' events that we helped put on with both the Women's Information Network and the Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative. All right, let's jump in. I'm talking about caring economics. I'm talking about creating partnerships. We're talking about collaborating. And that's how connecting with other people, you're going to, I like to say 1 + 1 = what? Not 2, 11, because you can exponentially increase whatever it is that you're doing. So I believe personally, to best grow our social, economic, and environmental problems, I believe that humanity needs to implement the caring economics and partnership model in this 21st century if we want to move away from poverty and war and toward what? Prosperity and peace. That's that's, if you haven't gone there recently, go to prosperityandpeace.org. So caring economics, collaboration has as its highest priority the caring for what? The caring for people. It lies at the heart of the partnership model, the collaboration model, which focuses on creating what? Mutually beneficial relationships. We like to sometimes say win-win. It benefits both of you every time. So simply stated, what have we had in the past? We've been subjected to the dominance model. That's about top-down control. The partnership model is about creating healthy relationships. The first is based on the need to dominate and to control, and the second is based on the ability to trust and collaborate. Historically, humanity has been subjected more often to which model? Of course, the dominance model. That's right, top down. Why? Because riches usually go to those who dominate, whereas trusting partners are vulnerable, right? they're vulnerable, and they risk being dominated by those who that's their model. So since the dominance model is top down, like what? Like nation over nation, like religion over religion, like man over woman, like woman over man, like anything that is top down control. You've seen it in lots of government, especially, government situations where you live in the different nations in Africa, most of you. So since domination has been the consistent model for generations of time, right? Centuries, then those of us looking back on this model and seeing history and our students of history, we can easily see that the dominance model, it's more conducive to war. It creates war. It creates conflict, right? Whereas the wonderful partnership model, the beautiful collaboration model, then it is conducive to peace and to preventing conflict and war, right? So let me talk to you about how that works. I believe that this is such a critical time in the history of the world, and we need more people like Jackie, like Robin, like the great leaders that you know. Who are the people in your world who you really admire, who are leaders, but they're benevolent leaders? They care about the people. Those are the ones you admire. Yes. So we need to also think about equalitarian relationships. When there's much more collaboration, when people are more equal. Yes. And those are, of course, relationships based on equal rights, right? This is needed in our homes. Husband and wife. The wife need not walk behind. She doesn't need to walk in front. But husband and wife should walk side by side. Men and women can walk side by side as leaders, neither one being ahead or behind. Yes. So it's not just in government, it's in your families. It's in your perspective of gender equality. And because example is so powerful, some of you young men have grown up seeing a dominance of your father over your mother, because that's been a culture in many, many nations. And you need to understand when you get married that you need to respect your wife, and it's an equal relationship, and to respect your mother and to respect the women in your world and fight for that equality. Not fight, but support and promote the equality, right? So as with all things that are beautiful, caring economics, partnerships, collaboration is really quite simple. And it starts where? In your thoughts. It starts with your words, especially in your mindset about all this and the questions you ask yourself. People who think abundantly. This is the caring economics. Listen to this question. How can I help you? How can I help you? As long as I've known Jackie Zokoli, as long as I've known Robin, that's their question. What can we do to collaborate? What can we do to help these young people? Yes. And in America, in English, we have this, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can't make a horse drink. We can give you all the keys. We can give you these wonderful principles and teach you. Your job is to then incorporate these teachings, these principles of truth into your lives, into your personal mindset, into your families, into every association you have. So what does a domination model think? What's their question? What's in it for me? Right? Yeah. How can I benefit? They don't seek win-wins. They don't seek a collaboration. They think, what's in it for me? Think of the most dominating leaders in government in your nation or other nations. And they say, what's in it for me? It's not as much about the people as it is about them. What I'm suggesting is that you Be one of the leaders as a youth in your home and say it in a kind way. You could say dad or father or papa, whatever you call him. You know, I'm noticing the way that you talk to mom, and I'd like to maybe invite you to consider. That's a beautiful way to say it, my friends. I'd like to invite you to consider the possibility of talking to her just a little bit more kindly. I think we'll have more love in our home. Have the courage to say things like that. Rare is the father who wouldn't have his heart softened a little bit. But if you say, Dad, I hate the way you talk to mom, you see, you're done. You won't get anywhere. What I'm talking about is a mindset and a way of being, not just talking, a way of thinking and yes, talking, but acting, your whole being, who you are. And ask yourself that question. Who can I serve today? Instead of getting up and thinking, oh my gosh, another day in COVID, you know, this sucks. So I've got to do this and I can't wear this and I hate wearing my mask. And yeah, hey, you're healthy. You're bright. You're here. You're living wide awake, or you're learning how to live wide awake. You are learning principles that so many young people don't know, and we're giving them to you free with just saying, please get it. Be one of the ones that rises up in a loving way in your family, in your community. What are you doing? You could wear masks and you could gather people social distancing and you could teach some of these things. You have Believe It, Become It. I sent it to you. Have you read it? If you haven't, or if you don't have it, then say, you know, it's easy. You've got my email. I send you emails all the time. Just reply and say, resend me your book, Believe It, Become It. So one of the International Youth Parliament ambassadors, he goes from village to village to village to village in Uganda. His name is Gerald Nasasira. And he teaches the principles in two of my books, Believe It, Become It, which talks about controlling your thoughts, words, and actions. It talks about agency. It talks about choices. It talks about becoming, believing, and becoming. He teaches this. Now he's taught it to thousands, one village at a time. He goes on his bicycle. He hitches a ride on broken down vans. He gets out there however he can. What are you doing with the knowledge that you have? Are you sitting home? Are you just on, you know, whatever it is, Facebook or whatever is your addiction on your digital device? And sometimes you have to recognize that it is an addiction. If you can't stay away from that phone, you're addicted. If you can't put that phone away for 2 or 3 days and not touch it, or you need to use the phone, but you don't have to go to Facebook. You don't have to go to the social media sites. If you can't do that, you're addicted. So what I'm suggesting is that there's a higher way of living right now during COVID. What are the choices you're making to be a youth leader? And that starts with yourself and with your own mind and with the way you choose to spend your time. Now, right now, we're talking about caring economics. And that sounds like a big, you know, how does it relate to the government? No, it relates to you. It starts with, how can I serve my fellow man? That's caring. It cares about the people. All right? So people who genuinely, in their heart of hearts, desire to create mutually beneficial relationships, then they authentically seek. That's an action verb, seek. They go after it to create win-wins, to create a relationship that benefits both. And it's okay to benefit both. So the good news is that those who aren't inclined to really think abundantly like you know you should, when you work at it, you can learn this very quickly. You just start with your statements to yourself. I am a leader. I am proactive. I am kind. I am confident. I am. You believe it and you become it. Please read that book. It'll change your life. All right. So it's a matter of wanting to make some changes. That's first. and then acquiring the tools. And that's what I give you. That's what we're giving you in our newsletters. And I dare say some of you are like, oh, thanks, Robin, that's a newsletter, but you're not reading it. It's like that bringing the horse to the water. We can't make you drink, but oh my goodness, we're doing our best to help you be leaders. So understanding that you need the tools, acquiring the tools, and then what? Practicing till maybe that dominance model is out of your mind and you're able to think abundantly. How can I help them? How can we create a win-win? She and I, he and she, doesn't matter, okay? Succeeding with these models, the bottom line, my darling ones, is that it's being others-centered instead of self-centered. You know, I want this, it's mine. This is the type of attitude that so many leaders throughout the 54 nations in Africa have. There are exceptions. I love the king in Morocco. You might want to study about him. They call him the people's king. What does he do? What does he do to be the people's king? He and he'll just take one guard with him. He'll go down onto the beach in his shorts. No crown, no fancy outfit, and he plays volleyball with the youth. There's so much beach in Morocco. And you think, ooh, if I was a king, if I was a queen, I would do that. Well, what are you doing now? You are kings and queens within your own circle of influence. You can rise up to be a great leader, but not if you waste your time doing things that aren't moving you forward. I'm 71. I've told you this before. I told you when I was 70. Now I'm 71. And every day, that's what I do, is I create content and I share content that hopefully touches hearts and changes lives. And I'd like to ask you, what are you going to do in the next, let's say you're 20, okay? You got 50 years. If you're 30, 60 to where I am right now, what are you going to be doing to prepare yourself to be a great leader, to be creating the type of thing that can shift people's heartstrings and shifts their mindset? You can do it right now. You don't have to wait till you're my age. In fact, please don't wait. Please start today. Decide today. Before I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to do one kind thing for one person. That's what it starts with. That's what these principles that I'm teaching you to apply to your life, that's what they mean. They're not something that you have to wait till you're a prime minister to apply. All right, other-centered leaders. What does that look like? You try to make life better for others. You're looking at others. You're saying, oh, I see a need there. I can help there. I can help them with that. So self-centered leaders work to find ways to make other people's lives easier and better. Dominance-centered leaders, self-centered leaders work to make their own lives better and easier. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't fill your cup, that you shouldn't take care of your body. Of course you should. That you shouldn't, get enough sleep and eat the right foods and do all the things that take care of you. But there's lots of time for you to be centered on others when your cup is full. I always say, fill your cup because you can give love better from your overflow. So love yourself. And some of you need to start there. I am lovable. I love myself. I'm a good person. And you say this and you envision it and you believe it and you become it. I promise you that. It starts with your mind. All right. So benevolent leaders have been, they're really been revered, right? And dominant leaders, they've been feared through the ages. One of my friends, there's a magnificent woman, she's in her 80s. She's been teaching for 60, 70 years. Her name is Riane Eisler, and she has Roadmap to a New Economics. Her whole book is on this, and she's a friend of mine. She's spoken at some of my events. So she says this, quote, if we are to create new, more sustainable and equitable relationships and systems that have the power to dissolve anger. You love those two words together? Dissolve anger, discontent, and inequality worldwide. We must discuss what? The roots of the problem. What's the basic problem here? The roots of the problem. We must go deep into matters. And this is still the quote that statisticians, theorists, and conventional economic analysis often ignores. We must discuss basic values and human needs that are often minimized or ignored with the dominance model that prevails in varying degrees worldwide across all isms of government, capitalism, socialism, communism, and across all types of relationships and businesses, close quote. So she's talking about, what are the roots? How did we get this way? How did we allow our leaders who dominate us? How did this even happen? And what can we do about it? How can we go down to those roots and root it out from there? It's much harder, as you well know, once a president, a prime minister, or a king is in power. Of course, it's much harder. But remember, the people, the hundreds of thousands and the millions of people are always influenced by benevolent leaders. Think about Gandhi in India. Oh, I hope you know about Gandhi. He said, and Robin has this at the bottom of all, if you don't know what he said, then you haven't been reading Robin's newsletters. She said, be the change you wish to see in the world. I love that. I'm going to repeat it. And this is for all of us. Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. If you say, look at that, they're just, well, then don't point your finger, don't blame, but rather you be the change. You step up, you be the leader. And you say, but how can I influence? I can just influence a small group. We'll start with a small group. Gandhi started with a small group. Everything starts with a small group. Margaret Mead has a quote that I can't remember. Do you remember it, Jackie? It's something about everything great began with just a small group of people. And that's true. Apple computers, you talk about anything, and they start with just a few people. All right, so a healthy, open discussion about values and human needs is prerequisite. That means it has to happen before to moving the world from the prevailing dominance model to the much better, caring, collaborative model. Yes, which is so superior. So so what are the solutions? What are the solutions? One of the solutions is what we're doing right now. We're bringing it out in the open. We're shining a spotlight on it, and we're saying, pay attention, live wide awake, put down your phone, notice what's happening in your family, in your community, and do something about it. Don't just sit back and blame and complain and criticize. That's so easy. There are millions of people doing that right now. Step up and be one who's not, who's thinking, how can I help this family be happier? How can I help this community be happier? And there are principles of truth that you know right now as young people that you can teach and you can exemplify. I've told you this so many times. Albert Schweitzer said there are really only 3 ways to teach. The first is by example. The second's by example. And the third's by example. People look at you. They don't hear what you say if what you do is different than what you say, right? You'll lose all credibility. You'll lose respect and trust. So think about these things, my darling ones. All right. So let's talk about some of the things we can do and just a little bit more about this caring economics. So caring by definition suggests that we consider all life as valuable. It follows then that the life of a child is far more important than money, than stocks and bonds. And if we believe that our children and our families are as important as financial instruments and money, then our economic policies and practices should reflect that. Society should insist on practices that encourage what? Health, stronger families, good education. Policies created should encourage such things as individual and national productivity, financial and economic sustainability. So do you know what the leaders in your nation are talking about, or what they're voting on, or what the laws are? Find out. And if you don't believe that it's in harmony with the dominance model, in harmony, it is the dominance model. It's not in harmony with the caring, with the collaborative model, then what is it that you can do? Many of you are at universities. Well, some of you are at universities online, but this is going to pass. In every book, the Quran, the Bible, it talks about, and it came to pass, and this followed this, and we are going to get past this. But oh my darlings, there are great blessings. There are great blessings, and maybe I'll talk next time about the blessings of COVID, but huge blessings during this time. If you're open to seeing them and using them and just being aware and benefiting from them. I can't go into that now. So I believe that our values are skewed when so much money, masses of money, is being spent on warfare and even on rockets. Not so much African money on rockets, but certainly in the United States, while masses of people are suffering when their basic needs aren't met. And you've seen this where you live. You see money being spent on things that, oh my gosh, if some of that money could come down to the people. Yes, you've seen this. So I want you to have opinions about things. I want you to not just react, but I want you to think about these things. Part of being a leader is living wide awake and thinking about these things. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about things that are like, what am I going to eat for my next meal? And oh, that friend, she, whatever it is that you're thinking about. I keep thinking about social media because that's one of the biggest problems in the United States with our young people. Instead of thinking bigger, instead of thinking about what can I do to help be the change in this nation? And then be thinking about that, start talking about it, get more and more people discussing it, because that's where it starts. Well, it starts in your mindset, but you know these things. So if we believe that the real wealth of the world lies in the contributions of humanity, then caring for people should be our highest priority. I'm going to send you this whole presentation because I wrote it out. It's all out. I'll send it to you so that you can share this with others. Not all the asides and the stories and the examples, those aren't in there. That's just Dr. Paula talking to you. But these basic things that need to be considered, and sometimes not like what I like. I'm very hands-on. I like to see things, touch things, and read them and reread them. And so I'll send those to you, to you, if you would like that. But laws that promote human development should be created at all levels of governments as natural outgrowths of the beliefs of the people. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Dr. Paula, we have no control over the despots, over the dominant leaders that in our nation. And I disagree, because what I believe is that a few people become more people, and I'm not suggesting anything militant, but I'm suggesting that there are ways to change and movements that can improve governments, especially by youth. If you will have your voice heard, you can have your voice heard. Jackie, darling, what?
Yes, Samson is working with a group of militia youth himself, and he's very curious about how you can work with them in collaboration and minimizing the violence that's around, and how you can work with mediation. I know your talk has on a real big schedule here, but he really has some concerns that I think you might be able to address since you just mentioned youth.
Perfect.
Is that possible?
Okay, yes, let's do that. I'm almost finished. So, so just to continue. So if the appropriate question is, okay, what's next? What can I do, Dr. What can I do right now? We've already addressed what you could do with your mindset, with your family, and the community teaching. So here's another idea. You might connect, and you know that we have a Facebook group, and some of you are very active on that. You might connect with young people from other nations on the International Youth Parliament Facebook group and ask some questions. Say, what are you doing? How can I do that in, fill in the blank, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, all through we have our young people. And what are you doing? And I'm going to make some suggestions right now. So you can actually set up discussions online where you ask a question and people answer it. And if your questions are good ones, like how can we move forward with a youth, non-militant, not the angry, throwing pipe bombs through the windows. We're talking about how can a peaceful movement get bigger and bigger and bigger so that it's through every nation in Africa. That's what the International Youth Parliament should be asking each other. Now, let me give you some ideas. So you all have online resources, you have newspapers, you have blogs. If you coordinate your efforts and say, okay, we together are going to, on this date, and everybody tells their friends on social media and gets it out through blogs. Set the date, like we just had International Peace Day. And I was so honored to speak at a huge virtual event that went to millions in India. And there were 21 speakers and we all spoke about peace. And so did that move the needle? I'm not sure. I will never know if it moved the needle in India, but let's talk about Africa. So what can you do? When we say move the needle, that just means making progress, like a needle showing progress, right? So if you say, let's look at the next great big African holiday. What is the next one that all of Africa celebrates? And we'll talk about this in just a minute, Samson. And so if there is some holiday, whatever that is, and it's got to be like 2 months away. So we're thinking maybe, the first part of December, maybe, something in December. And we say, okay, the first part of December, people aren't doing Christmas yet. That's those who celebrate that holiday. But the first part of December, if we said December 1st, but you found out, we'll talk about the date. But if you said on that day, and then you tell me what is going to be the most effective thing, certainly you can have thousands and thousands on Zoom. We could set up something. The International Youth Parliament could host something where the youth from all African nations could come online, and it would not be run by adults. It would be run by you, and you would have prepared presentations, and you would have some who would come on and they'd be singing, but they'd be singing something that's upbeat and positive, that promotes peace and promotes change, but not in a militant way again. And then you think, okay, what can we do physically? Physically, with social distancing, you can have gatherings where you share principles and you talk about how can we peacefully get the word out. There are magazines, there's newspapers, there's radio, there's television, if your voice is kind and powerful, if you use power in the greatest sense of the word, meaning many coming together, and kindness. It cannot be beating the chest. Oh, we hate that. It can't be that. This is a new day. You have to exemplify what it is that you really want. You want peaceful change. You want peaceful change. So how do you get it? You ask for it. You talk about it. You get millions to ask for it. We want peaceful change. Then you have to come up with 3, not more, not fewer than 3, but let's do 3 things that you really want changed, that need to be changed in all the African nations, not just one, that's not big enough. Every African nation, all the youth that would come together, 3 things that they would say, we want this, this, and this. Be very clear and have suggested solutions. You must be able to say, we want this, and this is how we would like to invite you to help us make that change. Did you hear how I said that? We would like to invite you to help us create that change. It's not you make the change and you don't give them any indication of how. You've got to be ready with a how. You can't just say this is a problem. You've got to have a solution that is doable and that the youth can all get behind, and have 3 of those that you have talked to the young people. What is the change that you want? Okay, we want our voices heard. Well, what does that look like? Well, can we have a regular column in the biggest newspapers in this country? Or can we have a radio show? Can you support us, oh government, to have a radio show if we will give? And again, you cannot be just criticizing the government. You cannot be criticizing the leaders. That is not how to have change. That's not how you're going to get it. You're going to get it by saying, we are the youth of this nation. We are the youth of this continent. And we would like these 3 things. And here's how we suggest that we can help you, or you can help us create this change. It's doable. They see you've done your homework. They see that you are not just criticizing the regime, because that hasn't ever worked, never worked. You've got to be the ones who are, benevolent leaders are saying, these are the solutions and here's how we'll work to have this come about. Okay, I'm almost finished. So I've got dialogue in your community, dialogue among your nations, and I'd like to suggest semi-annual, online, or even monthly if you want monthly. We'll do monthly. Jackie and Robin and I will do monthly. I've got this wonderful line that I pay hundreds of dollars a month for that you can use, and you just will schedule it. And you'll gather the people and they'll come on Zoom and they'll come from all over Africa. And then you say, what are our 3 requests? What are our 3? And how can we? And you have it in Samson. You would be the one who would lead it. And, they would email their suggestions ahead of time. So it's not, they're not all talking at once. And then you say, okay, so-and-so from this nation said this, raise your hand if you, I think we have a reactions thing, don't we? Don't we have a hand raise? Yeah, so there we go. I just put up a thumbs up, you see? And on Zoom, you can do that. And then somebody can clap for somebody else. So somebody can raise, that's for raising the hand and saying, I want to talk. But you see, on Zoom, you can do all these things. And then if you don't, and then I think you click it, yeah, it just goes away. I shouldn't have clicked it again because it just goes away. So you see, we're willing to help you do whatever it is you want to do to help collaborate, get these young people, and it starts with the International Youth Parliament. And then we're doing something. And the 3rd thing that I suggested is, that I already wrote on this, is create grassroots and government support for what you are doing. How are you going to get government support? I just told you. You're going to come to them peacefully, but in mass. Not just one person, but a lot. And the students, they care about their university students and they respect you. And so you're starting out well. And then you say, we have these 3 things, but let's not have 3 different things in every one of the 54 nations. Let's have 3 things that African youth want changed. And you could come up with those 3 because there's enough similarities throughout Africa. Now, I'm almost done. I keep saying that, but I'm just going to finish what I had prepared. And I said the obvious challenge with discussions that involve participants from different backgrounds, different cultures, and I know there's a lot of different cultures from nation to nation. I get that, is the problem of differing perspectives. Indeed, the gap between the haves and the have-nots, the cultural differences, the religious differences, they all pose a threat. Are you listening, Samson? To the success of any discussion, any international dialogue. That's a given. You say, okay, I get that. Right. So how do you overcome it? Participants can agree on these are our long-term goals. That's how you get it. Such as you can all agree we want more peace, we want more prosperity, and you don't say it at first, but that means that the money from the haves needs to come down to the have-nots. But you've got to have a plan of how they're going to do that in a reasonable way, right? Fewer taxes, whatever that is, you've got to come up with that plan with the youth. And so if participants can agree on long-term goals that are big, and then they trickle down and they are customized by the nation, right? So you know you want greater peace, you know you want greater prosperity, and perhaps you want more education and equality, more education for all, for the women, make it easier for these young people to go to school. Maybe those are your three big things. Then you got to say, this is how. If there were fewer taxes, we'd be able to keep more of our money. If there was, if we had more of a voice, we'd be able to get to peace faster. If we had, if you would regulate some ways that it isn't so difficult for women and men, and, it's more affordable, and there's more gender equality with education. Those are just off the top of my head. What are you going to come up with? Those might end up being what they are, but maybe you have other ideas. But you start, my darlings, with long-term goals that everybody can say, yep, we want that. We want those three things. Then you come up with a plan that is doable, that that any government or any leader could say, sure, we can help you do that. Don't make your demands unreasonable, or you won't be heard. Or you'll fail. You'll be wasting your time. You've got to make and you don't even call them demands. You're talking about collaboration here. The youth of this nation want to work with the adults in this nation to achieve these three goals. You see, it's a whole different angle, perspective. It's a whole different way of approaching those, because they're not going to listen to you if you're just a young person who's yelling. They won't. All right. So old thinking assumes that top-down control will inevitably continue. But history proves that model is broken. It doesn't work. New thinking, your thinking, youthful thinking, leads to partnerships and to policies that value people and their needs. I'm going to say that again. New thinking leads to partnerships and to policies that value people and their needs. And that model works. It's time for new thinking. And I believe that the families and the businesses and the nations that adopt and adhere to the caring, collaborative economics, the caring, collaborative model, will not only enjoy increased prosperity, they will lift the level of love, prosperity, and peace on earth in powerful ways never seen before in the history of the world. And that's the end of my presentation. I will email all of this to you. And Samson, feel free to use any part of this. And after this, I said, I'm sending out a call for action. I wrote, Who am I to do this? I'm one woman who leads one organization, but I know the hearts and I know the needs and I know the desires of the people of the world right now, especially the women and the youth. They want prosperity and they want peace, and they're willing to do almost anything to get it. You see, so many have been victims of the dominance model, and they are our new thinkers, our leaders of the future. You are our guardians of tomorrow. I love you, each one, with all my heart. And it's my prayer that you'll have the courage, and it takes courage to do what in your heart of hearts you know you need to do. All right, my darling ones. Now, go ahead and, Samson, unmute yourself and go ahead and ask me some questions. And did some of this resonate with you that you're able to now think those are good ideas? Give me some feedback, honey.
This is also good for Shalal because he's working with different religions and the youth of different religions to try to get them to work together. So whatever comes up with Samson will also resonate with Shalal.
Ah, Shalal. Well, talk to me, Shalal, about, talk to me. Unmute yourselves. Just unmute. Unmute. Click your mute. Yes, there we go. Okay. Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. It is a rare opportunity for me to have learned a lot today. Collaboration is key, as you said.
Yes.
One alone cannot be able to do anything unless you come in numbers.
Yes. Yes.
But in this part of the world, once if you go into such mobilizations of youth to react on the vision or your mission, you discover that some of them will always want to think of the benefit of them partaking in this vision of yours, because they always see it as an avenue for people to raise money and empower themselves, especially in this part of the world. I mean Nigeria in particular. So that was the reason why I raised this question of collaboration. What are the steps, and how can one bring in people, and especially well-placed people, to be able to support your mission or your vision, and to be able to achieve your major goals as you highlighted it to them. So, but due to your discussion, I have learned a lot, and I am going to put it into practice to see how far I will go in it. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. And may God bless you as you do this. And right at the beginning of any discussion, you need to say to them, this is not about money. I am not making money. No one will make money. This is free. Everyone can join. And just say that. Just put it out there and say, release your expectations for making from this. If you are here to try to make money or to use a title to make yourself better, then you don't belong. You don't belong. And we lovingly invite you to go. And you just need, that's also benevolent leadership. You need to let them know it's not about money. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Shalal?
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for making me part of this meeting. It's blessing for me to be part of this meeting. First of all, I would like to thank Jacqueline. Because of her, I am making good team in Pakistan under her leadership. And first of all, and then I would like to thanks you, Paula, for making me part of your organization. Every week, we are having meeting with Jacqueline, and in that meeting, I have I'm trying to make new members from Pakistan, and by the grace of Jesus, I have made a good team in Pakistan, which is working for the betterment of youngsters in Pakistan. Just I need your support so that we can build youth a good leadership in future. And I am very thankful to Jacqueline and Paula, to you, that because of you both, we are doing great work in Pakistan for the betterment of youth. And I just need your support so that we can bring change in this world. With your support, with your leadership, we can bring change in Pakistan. We can bring change in all over the world. And I am very thankful and blessed to have to engage with you and Jacqueline so that we can bring change in this world.
Thank you so much. And we are so blessed that you are listening and taking action and doing what we are inviting you to do, to be a great leader. So thank you, Shalal.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Welcome. Any other thoughts, any questions, any more comments?
Yes. I would like to request you so that we should have an international conference, if it's not possible, young leaders, those who are part of this organization. I am from Pakistan, Ital is from Nigeria, and from different countries. We should arrange a conference. If it's not possible in USA, then we can arrange in Europe, London, or anywhere in the world where we can get to meet everyone so that we can know our team members are in different parts of the world.
Well, that is a dream that we have, but it takes what? It takes money. It takes funding. It takes a lot of money to have an actual conference in a country where people then have to fly there. People have to, we don't have funding. There is not.
Yes.
And so when that's a dream, that's a goal. And when we have that type of funding, our first one is going to be in Morocco. We have already been invited to go to Morocco, and the people who are there said that if the young people can come, then it won't cost them anything for their staying there or accommodations or their food. And so we have that already, that offer. But then you have to get there, and all over Africa, because of COVID, we can't do it yet. And because we don't have funding, we can't. The time will come.
Yes.
And, inshallah. Yes, God.
That's true. That's true. And one thing more, that we should make our team members, like youngster, strong members in their own countries, that they can engage in different government departments, so that when we need to bring change in world, those have good connections. Our team members have good connections in their own governments. We have to make our youngsters strong like that.
Well, and you can talk on Facebook right now. Maybe Jackie could send you, or Robin, somebody will send you the link to the Facebook page. There are young people from all over already talking there, and you can be part of that discussion.
Yeah, that's probably the best at this stage, is to do the Facebook until we be able to gather the masses, so to speak.
Right. All right. I love you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching later. And the next time, those who are watching later, try to come on live. It's wonderful to have this interaction with those who are here. Love you.
It's plastic.
Remember,
Love you
I will
too.
have the Peaceful Mind next Friday at 8 o'clock. So that's the first
8 o'clock
Friday
US Pacific.
Pacific time. Yeah, I will have that next Friday. So please bring whomever. I'm not sure the topic yet, but that's the first Friday, and that's the way we do it, is the first Friday. And I thank
Okay.
I thank both of you for being part of the PAC group. That's where they were this morning at a meeting. I honor you and bless you for realizing the abundance that is possible through this. And it's just, I'm just so delighted that the two of us are there, at least. And
Wonderful.
thank you so much.
Okay.
So, and thank you,
Right.
Paula. It was
You're
beautiful.
welcome.
Thank you.
Love you.
I'm
Bye-bye.
going to go back now to see Robin. I'll be out of here. I was at the conference. I was
Bye.
at the conference. Yeah.
Okay. Love you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.